When you've been caring too much, it all starts to feel too heavy. The weight of the world, the constant uncertainty, the ache of watching humanity lose its way. It can make you feel like you've lost your own footing. This meditation is about returning to solid ground inside yourself, one breath and one step at a time, until clarity begins to find its way back to you. You don't need to feel strong right now. You only need to be here, breathing, listening, allowing the possibility of steadiness to slowly return. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Let your shoulders drop with the exhale, noticing the ground beneath you supporting your weight. You don't have to carry everything in this moment. You're allowed to rest, to release, to simply exist. There's a certain fatigue that doesn't come from lack of sleep or overwork. It comes from caring deeply in a world that feels constantly on edge. It's the weight of empathy that has nowhere to rest, of witnessing suffering and feeling powerless to stop it, of trying to stay kind in times that reward detachment. Maybe you've been showing up for others, staying informed, doing your best to contribute, yet beneath it all, a quiet heaviness lingers. That's emotional fatigue. It's what happens when your nervous system has been on high alert for way too long, taking in too much pain without enough space for renewal. If you feel numb or detached, it's not because you don't care. It's because you've cared so much that your system needed to protect you. If you feel irritable or hopeless, it's not failure. It's a signal that you need restoration. So for the next few minutes, let this space be your permission to step away from the noise and come back to yourself. Imagine standing at the base of a mountain as the first light begins to touch the land. The sky's clear, the air is still. The moon lingers faintly above as morning gathers strength. Each step you take upward is not about achievement or progress. It's about releasing what you've been holding. The mountain doesn't demand effort, it invites presence. As you begin your inner climb, imagine that every breath loosens the tension you've been carrying. The stories of not doing enough, the fears of what's coming next, the endless cycle of giving without replenishing. You're not climbing to prove yourself. You're climbing to remember yourself. Take a slow, full breath in and exhale softly, like wind moving over stone. Up here, there are no demands, only the rhythm of breath and the quiet hum of your own being. Burnout isn't just physical exhaustion, it's emotional depletion, when your inner resources have been drained faster than you can renew them. It's your mind saying, I need space, your body saying, I need rest, and your heart saying, I need hope. Many people blame themselves when burnout arrives, but this fatigue isn't a personal flaw. It's the cost of being human in a world that rarely pauses. Your mind might replay everything that's wrong, the news, the tension, the endless to-do lists, yet none of those thoughts can restore you. What does restore you is permission to pause, to breathe, to feel what you've been pushing aside. Inhale compassion. Exhale judgment. With each breath, imagine that oxygen reaching the quiet corners of your being, softening the edges, easing the pressure, reminding you that healing doesn't come from doing more. It comes from allowing space for what already is. As you continue your climb, imagine reaching a stretch of trail where the world opens on both sides, a narrow ridge that feels both exposed and freeing. This is the edge between fear and trust, between control and acceptance. When life feels uncertain, our minds cling to prediction and preparation. But clarity rarely comes from control. It comes from presence. On this ridge, there's nothing to grasp, only balance to feel. Breathe in the still air and exhale tension. You notice that the more you try to steady yourself, the less stable you feel. But when you let your body find its rhythm, your footing returns naturally. This is what emotional regulation feels like. Not the absence of instability, but the ability to find balance within it. Eventually, the incline eases, the summit is near, the air feels lighter, the horizon expands. You stand at the peak, surrounded by endless ridgelines fading into light. The clarity up here is striking, not because everything makes sense, but because you can finally see again. From this higher perspective, you realize that what once felt overwhelming looks different from a distance. The crisis, the worries, the endless stream of noise, they're still there, but they no longer fill your entire sky. This is the paradox of burnout recovery. Nothing external has changed, but your relationship to it has. You've regained space inside yourself. Take another slow, intentional breath. Inhale, renewal. Exhale, release. Clarity is not certainty. It's the quiet knowing that even without answers, you can breathe again. From a psychological perspective, renewal happens not when we eliminate stress, but when we restore connection to self, to meaning, to purpose. Resilience isn't a constant state of strength. It's the capacity to return to steadiness again and again. Think of your nervous system like the mountain itself, rooted deep, weathered by time, yet unchanged at its core. The winds may rise, the mountain doesn't rush to calm them. It simply endures, steady in its foundation. In moments of burnout, remember, you are the mountain, not the storm. Breathe in stability. Breathe out strain. Peace doesn't come from ignoring the world. It comes from remembering your depth within it. As you begin your return down the mountain, notice how the air warms and the light softens. Each step downward is not a loss of clarity, but a return to daily life with perspective renewed. You understand now that peace isn't a destination. It's something you carry back with you. Imagine gathering your scattered energy as you descend from every headline, every conversation, every obligation that pulled you thin. You're calling your spirit back home. With each breath, whisper gently to yourself, I'm allowed to rest. I can care without collapsing. I can be in this world without losing myself. These words aren't affirmations to force. They're reminders of what's already true. If you want deeper support in navigating burnout and emotional fatigue, I offer psychotherapy for California residents. You can find more details in the description. Remember, you're learning that rest is not withdrawal, it's repair. Peace is not weakness, it's wisdom. And you're discovering that clarity begins not when the world changes, but when you reconnect with the steady ground within you. Take good care.